Welcome to Culmination, where we're not experts, but we sure have a lot to say. In the process of becoming our best self, I have with me the aspiring veterinarian, Sekani to discuss motivation. And with that, let's get started. So in simplest terms, what is motivation?
That's a good question. For me, it's just what I'm able to do to the point in which it's the limit. Wait, no, this is very confusing, but to me, it's the search for something that I enjoy. That's what I find motivation to be. I do things in order to find something that I enjoy.
So it's kind of like the extent to which you'll go in order to find some sort of reward, whether that's meaning or like better opportunity, something like that.
Yeah, that I think that sums it up. I think it's like that's the very simplest way that I can explain it. Yeah.
Okay. So is it kind of like an incentive in that sense?
I would say so, yeah. Because in life, there's always going to be those downs, those terrible moments, and motivation is trying to find those good moments. And I think that incentive to find those good moments should make anyone want to go out and do something.
That's an interesting way to put it, because it's like when you're or just really any state of your life, whether you're in the peak zone of happiness or just fulfillment, or if you're in the depths of the rut that you're entrenched in, it's just like motivation is, well, in a sense, it's also kind of the will to keep going, as the will to push forward.
True. No, that's very true.
Then again, forward is just kind of our conception of like that reward or that fulfillment that we kind of described. So in a sense, it is just an incentive.
Yeah. I mean, progress in itself is the reward, yeah, but it doesn't really. I think it doesn't really matter how much progress you make as long as you enjoy what you're striving for. Because you've seen like professional athletes only get better by such a small incremental amount, yet the joy on their faces is so unmeasurable. And I guess that is the goal of motivation. It's to find that immeasurable joy in that small progress, no matter how large or how small or how minuscule it is. It really, you just need to have something that can bring that smile to your face.
Right. Like just that extra level of growth,
Yeah. For me, it's just like running for me used to be such the negative thing that I'd always not look forward to doing. And there came that point that the progress that I made just made me so elated. And I guess the length I was willing to go for it is 2 years of my life in high school were dedicated to getting out there on the field and just going for runs, going for that 8-10 mile run, and then seeing how fast I could be. The time just varies so much.
Right. What motivated you to do that?
Well, at first, the reason I started even doing distance in the first place was because the coach came up to my mom when I was doing long jump and said, "Hey, why isn't your son doing distance? He looks like a distance runner. You should get out there." And my mom was like, "Oh, I never thought about that." And so next thing I knew, I was signed up for cross country. First year I did it terrible, absolutely terrible. I was slow. Running sucked, and sometimes instead of running, I'd go hide out in like the apartment complex and be like, "Oh, haha, running, that's stupid."
Yeah.
Second year, I don't really know what changed. I guess I was just more into being fast because I saw what people could do, and I was impressed. I was like, "All right, I'm gonna try that. And the end of that second year, that my sophomore year, I was just floored by how well I was floored how much effort could really bring me that far. I went from, I think, a 21 to a 18:59, which is like a 3 minute difference, which is really big. And the difference in speed and like the difference in people looking at you is just incredible. And I think that was the very first moment I felt like pride in what I could do as a runner.
Yeah. There's like multiple kind of motivations and incentives and feelings that you have through that, because you have this internal feeling of, I'm getting better, I'm getting physically stronger, I'm getting noticeably faster, and I can push myself, I can do more difficult things. And then you have this external reward as well of just like, hey, look, people are looking up to me. People think I'm cool, frankly.
Cool is a stretch. I would say they are impressed that I am willing to put myself through that much pain.
But like they're still looking up to you in that sense.
Yeah.
Which also helps you keep going, you know?
That's true.
So another one of my questions is, or I'll ask this first just because it's more general. What goes into motivation? Like we talked about this internal and external kind of thing, but I want to hear from you. What all goes into it besides those?
Just work. It's just work, because you're not gonna find anything if you don't get up every day and do it. And that tedious repetitivity is just something you're gonna have to get used to, because nothing in this world is a one and done situation. It's gonna, if you want something to be permanent, or if you want something to be remembered, it's repetition. It's just the way the world works.
So like discipline.
Yeah. I can't even speak on that, because my discipline fluctuates. But even then, you have to repeat. Like if you want to get good at, or if you want to find joy in anything, you got to keep doing it. Like you can play games once and enjoy them, and then that's done. Or you can play multiple games, do it over and over again, and then that joy is just, it's not sustained, but it's there for, it persists longer and longer every time you play it.
But also it's like if you just play one game like one night and then play another game another night, it's like, sure, you just keep jumping around and you have new experiences, but unless you like play a game for a while, and this is essentially like, I'm talking about a video game here, any sort of game, but it's applicable to anything. It's like to just do something once, like to just go out on a run randomly one day. It's like, cool, that was neat, that was different, but it's so different than getting out and running every single day with a routine or a structure or discipline, just because you're not really pushing yourself. You're just kind of checking a box at that point.
That's 100% true, and I think that's one of the more like alluring draws of motivation, is that challenge.
Like
some people
go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I lost my train of thought.
Well, it's just like people are driven by difficult things. Like to do something difficult takes so much strength, so much willpower, and to do it, it's like, holy crap, like I just did this, you know?
Yeah.
But if we do easy things all the time, it gets boring, it gets repetitive, we're not learning anything, we're not growing.
I guess that's the mystery of the human brain, really.
Right. It's just weird how we're not satisfied with the easy things. We need to just constantly keep going for bigger and better things. So
no, wait, I have a question.
What's up?
So if you think that we need to keep striving for bigger and better things, what about the people that are complacent in their lives? What do you think of them? Do you think that they're unhappy because of their complacency? Can they be happy?
That's an interesting question. I think there's definitely people in terms of complacent, like I feel like there's definitely a group of people that just don't really feel that call to action. Like they're fine just with consistency about how the world is. They don't really need to innovate or anything. And I think that's just how they work, frankly. Like you can't change that. That's just how they are. Like there's like the people who are normally set in stone like that. They grow, of course, but probably at a slower rate because they just don't need that change that other people are like hungry for, I guess. So they don't really push the limit. But with that said, I do feel like somebody who stays completely the same, who doesn't do anything new, who just kind of, I said it already, stays the same for years on end. It's just like they're not really evolving. And I feel like that might be bad because they might reach a point where, like, like the midlife crisis where it's, what have I really accomplished? What have I done? Where did all that time go? Who am I?
But doesn't that mean we're all destined to at least face complacency at least once in our lives?
Well, of course, because,
Yeah.
we fall into ruts sometimes.
Yeah. My thing with complacency is not that they don't have. It's not that they don't have motivation to change anything. It's that
Uh-huh.
their motivation reaches a level in which they can only do some things,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. It's like they're not thinking about changing the world each day or even something as intense as I want to become an NBA player, but they still have motivations, like they might be like, "Oh, I'm going to tend the garden today," and have that motivation to do that consistently, you know. Because they're complacent, they're probably good with routines and everything.
It's true.
Um, Let me see. I'm just kind of, unless you have anything else to say on that note.
No, I mean, there are things that I'm complacent on in life. I feel like it's good to have a couple of things that you have no motivation to overcome, but you have motivation to do.
Hmm.
Um, I really can't because I've seen what an overdose of motivation does to a person, or I've seen like a group. I've seen a certain group of people just think that they're false motivation, over motivation, all those things. I've seen what it does to people, and I feel like you have to have some complacency in life to keep you grounded before you go off and try to reach for the stars.
Well, now I'm curious. What does it do to people?
Uh, everyone
Like, what
heard you've heard of burnout. Everyone's heard of burnout.
Bruno?
Burnout, where you're just
A burn.
unable to.
I thought
Yeah,
you said Bruno. Everyone's heard of Bruno.
Bruno Mars. Hey,
Bru-
we love
Bruno
Bruno
Mars?
Mars. Hey,
Oh, you
everyone's heard
said
of Bruno.
burnout.
I mean, come on.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead. Burnout.
Not thinking of Bruno. Yeah, everyone's heard of burnout, and burnout is exactly what it is. You're unable to muster up the energy to do anything.
Right.
It's just AP classes, AP kids. You all got that one kid who's just been like, oh, I've been up for 10 hours straight, working on this essay because I need to get the best grade possible because I want to be the best,
Right.
and they sacrifice so much just to be the best,
Mm-hmm.
or their whole personality becomes the class, and that trade-off of that increase in the motivation just ruins every other aspect of your life. It's
Right.
okay to be motivated to do something, but you can't make it your single-minded goal to do that thing, because then you lose every other part of your personality. You become more of like a square, so boring, so predictable.
Square.
I mean,
Hey,
because
no
yeah,
offense to the squares out there.
no offense, but you're boring.
um,
I'm not much better myself. I'm not that interesting. That's why I try to make myself interesting.
and that's a motivation right there.
Yeah.
What I want to say about uh, what you said there is maybe a little bit disagreement, maybe a little bit devil's advocate, but
Oh
what I would
no.
say is it's like I agree with you that putting so much effort, so much motivation towards one thing is very risky. I don't think it's necessarily or inherently bad to do that, but it's very risky because, obviously you're constantly putting that foot on the pedal, accelerating how fast you're going with that motivation until you eventually hit a brick wall, and that's the metaphor for burnout. You're just completely destroyed and you can't do anything anymore because you've gone on top speed.
Yeah.
But I think that only happens when you lose track of why you're doing things. Really, I could just simplify that into you lose track of the why. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you motivated to do this? Like, if you lose track of that purpose, essentially, let's use your example of the AP student. Why do you think they're getting good grades? I mean, you could have an external reason, like their parents are forcing them or something, or they just expect them to do that. Or, you know, they might be looking into a good college or something, and they genuinely want to be a doctor or something that requires a lot of extraneous work. And I guess that example would be more applicable to what I'm saying is more if they have that true will and passion to become a doctor, let's say because their motivation is to save people or to help people or maybe to cure cancer if it's really big like that.
Yeah, cancer is bad. I hope someone has the motivation to cure that.
Right, but you know, if they have that strong motivation, then I don't think they'll hit burnout because every day the grind isn't a grind. It's just progress.
True.
It's all mental if you think about it. Like, is
that's fair
anything
enough.
really tough?
Did you just say if anything's really tough?
Is anything really tough if you think about it objectively?
Yes. Stuff is tough. Mentally, you can be like, "Oh, that was easy," but physically, yes, things are tough. But we're not talking about the physical. We're talking about the mental because really,
maybe I'm biting more than I can chew, but you know, maybe it could apply to physical.
Are you gonna tell me, Casey, that after every day of hard, baseballing, hitting the ball, which you'll tell us about later, hitting the baseball, running around, catching stuff, you're not a little tired?
You could be, but if you are in the mindset. Why are you laughing at me?
Nothing. Continue.
I am proving a point here, son.
You are proving. Yes, your point is proven. I agree. I'm just.
Well, okay. Let me give you the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
You are right. Of course, you're physically tired, and you don't want to overly push yourself. But I guess in a weird way, you could essentially trick your mind with just the idea of the locus of control, which is just your mindset and everything. Like how much control you have over your life. If you feel like that session of baseball was fulfilling and just very, very fun, and you made a lot of effort and growth, like, is that really, even if you're physically tired, you might not be exhausted, even physically, not mentally, but even physically, if you trick your mind in that sense. What do you think of that?
I agree.
Comma, but
not even comma 2 points.
Okay.
Because my coach in cross country said the same thing. Now he's a little extreme, which every coach is.
Oh yeah, this is definitely an extreme thought.
Yeah, but he's like, listen, guys, cross country running is like 90% mental. All right, your body is trained to do the things that you've been training it to do. You've done all the practices. The only thing stopping you in a race from really achieving what you need is you. And yeah, he's right. I'm not gonna lie. I've been in a race sometimes. I'm like, man, I'm gonna stop running. Why am I even running? Like, this is tiring. But I mean, I agree that yes, if you really put in that effort, you can walk off that track, that field, that whatever you were doing. Maybe you were building a house. You can walk away from that house refreshed, actually, because mentally you did no work. You were just having fun.
Yeah,
I agree with that. But I will stand by the fact that even if you enjoy something, you will be tired. Because too much of a good thing is a bad thing.
Right, yeah.
It's the golden rule.
I thought the golden rule was to treat
the
others.
The golden rule is to treat people however you treat them. And I want to be treated like that was the golden rule. Like what I just said was the golden rule.
Okay.
All right, so treat me like what I just said is the golden rule.
Okay. Well, couldn't you have like chosen the platinum rule or some other
Platinum? Who
any
even
other
uses
metal?
platinum?
I don't know.
You see, is platinum? You can't use platinum in Minecraft, but you can use gold.
Well, that's true. What about the iron rule then?
Okay, I mean, I guess that's more useful. The iron rule, then.
All
Too
right.
much of a good thing.
Well, let's move on then.
What's the next question?
All right. Let me look. So we kind of touched upon this a little bit, but let's kind of get into more of the nitty gritty. How do others influence our motivation?
Well, that's a good question. Just like everything in the world, there's people that'll lift you up, and people that'll shove you back down, people that'll make you want to do things, and people that'll make you want to stop doing things.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, since motivation is attaining that good feeling, that progression, that feeling of happiness, there are some people that, like, you, if they're right beside you, you want to do more with them because they're your companion through that hard work that you're doing. And then there are just some people who are standing by the side being like, wow, you're going to go through all that work to do something? That work is useless. Look at me. I'm fine over here. And then you see, you're like, maybe what I am doing is stupid. Maybe I shouldn't do it. Maybe I'm wasting my time. I guess those are the two things that I see in people.
Do you think the latter is kind of like peer pressure?
I don't really think it needs to be peer pressure. I think it's just because a person, I mean, this peer pressure is not restricted to like a group, is it? It can be anyone.
I was just thinking more of it like not like they're directly pressuring you, but just kind of indirectly influencing the way you think. Like if you see multiple people that you know saying, oh, what they're doing must be stupid, it's likely to influence your thinking. It's kind of like groupthink if you think about it.
Yes. Then yes, that's exactly, yeah, it is like peer pressure then, yes.
Okay.
Everyone's been subject to peer pressure a little.
Yeah.
That time you wear those jeans to school and everyone's like, dang, you're looking kind of crusty, boy. Why are you wearing those jeans? It do be hurting.
All right, then. So, well, let's keep going. What about keep going about how people influence motivation?
I think I have a story for this. Let me think. Oh, okay. I have one. This was fourth grade. This was fourth grade, and I was in Mrs. Williams' class. I was doing. She had combined English and science, and I was doing a past. Well, yeah, I was doing a plural tense worksheet on how to make words plural, and one of them was like woman, woman. There are multiple women. It was one of those types of things. That's the one I remember because that's the one I got wrong, and that's the only one I remember. But she took me aside and she was like, Sekani, you got an F on this paper, and I was like, huh? No, but I tried my hardest. She's like, yeah, you did, and while you did try your hardest, it was not enough to secure a passing grade. And while you could take this and you could, wallow in sadness and be sad, you could also work with me, ask me questions, and we can get better at this together. And I feel like that's a perfect example of the type of people that stand by your side and strive with you towards the same goal.
Yeah. Because when your teacher said something like that, it's less of a discouraging, wow, Sekani, this sucks.
I mean, she did say that. She just followed it up with something else.
Well, yeah, like she added the point. She turned it into an inclusive thing. Not only like showing you that she cares about you, but also providing you an opportunity and motivation to get better. Like she gave you the benefit of the doubt that you did try your hardest. So she didn't extinguish any bit of that, those pretenses, but she also provided you like a gateway out, like a gateway upwards, you know?
Yeah. She
Good.
she's like one of the main reasons I'm probably in any AP language class right now. Because my writing, I mean, my writing is like still not the best, but my writing was abysmal back then. If I hadn't worked on it, I probably would just be in honors or regular right now.
Well, did you want to be an AP because of that?
No, I didn't want to be an AP because of that, but I did want to strive to be the best that I could, and that just led me
like
to AP.
because of that motivation that
it was because of that motivation that she gave me.
Okay. And that's just interesting looking back now.
No, I thank her every day. She's friends with my mom. I thank her every chance that I get.
Oh. Well, hopefully she can hear this video.
Maybe I'll probably ask my mom to share it with her. They're running friends.
Okay. So let me see. Checking my questions again.
Questiones.
What was something you were really super motivated to do or create? Like the biggest motivation to do something or create.
Oh, the biggest motivation to do something?
The biggest thing.
You really want to know?
Oh, lay it on me.
You really want to know?
Yes.
YouTube.com/minority meetup. We are the best podcast in existence. It's crazy. Where did that come from? But, quarantine happened, this summer. Not this summer, last summer.
God.
I'm kind of sending around. I'm like, man, I'm bored. I don't feel like going out and talking to people because that's dumb. But I really do want to hang out with my friends. And so I was talking to Gus one day. And Gus was like, Gus, you know what we should do? And he's like, what? I was like, we should make a podcast because that sounds kind of fun. And he was like, oh, for sure? And I was like, yeah, for sure, man. I'll actually do it this time. And so he comes over. We just sit down. I put my phone on a table and we start talking. And I was like, you know what would be cool? We should get more people on this. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah, for sure. And he's like, oh, all right. Are you actually going to do this? I'm like, yeah. I'm going to do it. Next thing I know, I'm on a Discord call with like 7 people. And we're talking about JetX and William Lupo, the lost Reese's Puff rap kid. I mean, it was a fun thing to do. And I would say the motivation came out of nowhere to do it. I mean, now we're having in-person podcast soon, probably this spring break, and it just keeps growing. So it's just, I know that sounds like a small thing, but that's like the biggest thing that comes to my mind.
Why is that?
I guess it's because it's left the biggest impact. It's something that I have to like sit down and do. Something I can sit down and post out into the world to be seen. There's nothing special, just random conversations, and I feel like those are entertaining, but it doesn't have to be entertaining to anyone except for me, which is why I do it.
Just kind of that intrinsic value.
Yeah, I do a lot of things for myself. I'm selfish. I'm a selfish person. I do a lot of things for myself because if no one's gonna be there for you, you gotta be there for yourself. And that sounds sad, yes, but it also motivates you to take care of yourself.
No, I agree.
And so I do things for myself, and when I find myself falling out of fun with it, I'll just stop. Gus can tell you that I've just stopped doing a lot of things. Gus is like, Sekani used to write a bunch of stories, but then you stopped. Yeah, because those stories were cringy and they were boring. So I stopped doing that.
So I guess that kind of touches back to what we were saying earlier. It's that burnout because you lost track of the why. Why are you doing it?
Yeah. Like sometimes it's good to have. I feel like sometimes it's good to not have a why until later. Because like I didn't know why I wanted to do a podcast. I was like, it just sounds cool. And now I know I want to do it because it's fun for me to listen back on things.
Right.
Sam has called it like a memory of our time, something that we can always go back to watch. Now, do I find that sappy? Yes, but is it true? 100%.
Well, it doesn't matter if it's sappy or sentimental. It's just a
It does
nice
matter,
cookie.
Casey. It
What is it?
does.
Your pride?
I have a lot of pride in my unfeeling heart. I,
Huh.
I, I don't cry. I just weep.
When no one's around.
When no one's around, I weep. But when people are around, I strengthen or whatever. I don't know.
I
But
see.
fair. It's yeah. It doesn't matter if it's sappy, but it's just a good way to look back to see. It's like pictures, but
Right.
with voice.
Well, women love a strong, sensitive man, Sekani.
Hey, no, we don't speak. No, women. None of that.
Yeah, no offense to any
No
women
offense to
listening.
women, all right? Because this is a wholesome podcast where
It's
anyone
a
can come
wholesome
listen.
podcast.
But I would like to mention Burger King did tweet out something, and I'm not saying I agree with it, but it was quite funny.
All right, next question. Next question.
This better be
Bro,
in.
what's the distinction between motivation and determination?
All right, give me a sec. I have the definitions pulled up on my Google real quick. Oh no, I don't. I deleted them. Give me a sec. Motivation. If we know motivation is the reason or reasons for acting, but my motivation is to find something, my definition of motivation is to find something fun. So I find the happiness. Determination is defined as a firmness of purpose, resoluteness. So really, your motivation leads to your determination, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to find. I want to do. Let's say I want to. I want to sew, right? I want to sew because I find it to be rewarding in a way that I can't find anywhere else. And my determination is that I'm not going to stop sewing until I can knit the best mittens in existence, because once I knit those mittens, I'm going to get some kind of elation that I've been searching for. And then I'll be on to the next big task in front of me. Determination is it's like goal setting, right? You're determined to hit the goal that you motivate yourself to reach. Yeah. Yeah.
So determination is kind of like the long-term goal for and the motivation's like the short term
Yes.
in a sense, like working towards that.
It's psychology definitions, man. I'm hitting it. I'm hitting it. But yeah,
You're
yeah.
hitting it.
I'm hitting it. But yeah, that's what I think. Though I feel like a lot of words or things that we use to define motivation and determination, it's such an abstract concept that maybe you can make them one thing, motivation and determination.
Right.
But I would say for simpler purposes, yeah, determination is long term, motivation is short term. Motivation is the flint and steel that starts the fire of determination that burns within your heart to reach heights never before seen by humanity.
Well, right. If you think about it this way, like back to your podcast, it's kind of like the motivation was this is fun and something to do during this time.
And then the
And
determination was to beat Fax News from 40 to subscribers.
which is our friend Sam's channel.
He is our friend Sam, and I still have not won.
Or it's because you like making good content and entertaining people. But nope, it just
I need to win.
It's
Don't
all
get in
about
my way,
winning.
Casey. I'll win. I'll win against you too.
All right. All right.
Just because you have sensible advice and you're giving people something to listen to, you think you're better?
No.
Good. We need to maintain a hierarchy here. But what was your motivation for behind this podcast, Casey? You wanna tell the audience?
Sure. I think I've added some little details about this in other episodes, but I feel like there's my internal and external like values behind it. My internal is, first of all, I have these kinds of conversations regularly with people. Like, Sekani, I've talked to you on occasion. This is the same thing we usually do. Like, I'm not putting on an act or anything. I'm just essentially recording conversations that I usually have, and I like the idea of covering all these different topics that are just interesting to talk through, kind of trying to search for a truth that we might never find. That's kind of opening a whole can of worms there. Huh?
It's so stoic, Casey. You're like a protagonist.
Well, it's just like, you know, you never know the answers to life or the meanings, but hopefully with each video or episode, I gotta stop calling it a video because it's just a podcast. But
now these not I mean you look at the TV screen reflection.
yeah, that's true. But yeah, that's kind of my internal value, just trying to piece together everything to possibly find the meaning in life and everything. And then my external value is I want this podcast to be something that at best is something that can truly help you, like provide insight or some things that we talk about that can actually influence you in a way that is positive in your life.
So it's not for money.
Not really.
But would you appreciate money?
I mean, I think everybody appreciates money, but
I just need to dig. I need to dig deep. You thought you were interviewing me? No, I'm the one interviewing you now.
that's the twist.
That's the twist. Yes.
Right, but at worst, this is just a simple, entertaining podcast for everybody. So that's kind of my motivation. That's why I can keep going with 2 uploads every week. I just
2 uploads every week.
Yeah, sheesh. I do 2 a week.
Sheesh.
Well, it's just interesting. That's kind of why I thought about that burnout thing earlier. It's just like this can be a lot. I have to think about 2 like profound topics every week and a guest who I'm going to talk to about it. But I don't have a problem with that because even when I feel like I have a rut or something, I just think about, all right, why am I doing this? And I'm doing this because I want to not only find the truth to all these things or get closer or just hear other people's opinions, really just to learn, because God knows what I actually know in the grand scheme of things. Kind of pulling Socrates into this. I know nothing.
Oh, so you're a scholar, I see. Please give me the wisdom.
Yeah, I don't know. I keep going.
You seem to want, to me at least, it seems you want to learn. That's you. That's your underlying core motivation for everything that you do.
Yeah, and I want to help people too. I want to learn with people. Like I'm not just interviewing you. I want to learn with you. What is motivation, Sekani?
What do you want? You want to know my secret? You want to know my secret?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, Casey. In this world, there are a lot of things I know, right? There's one thing I do know, and that's I don't want to be looked down upon by anyone. I strive to be someone who can lift people up, but at the same time look down.
Why look down?
Why look down? Because if you never look down, you don't remember where you came from. If you never look down, you don't find the people you want to bring up with you, Casey. You gotta always look back. There's no forward without backwards.
It's true.
Equal and opposite reactions, really.
Right. It's always good to look back at who you were and everything.
Yes.
And it's like you think about the past and it's like, oh wow, look at my past self from 2012. I was so cringy back then. But you kind of have to respect your past self, because I'm a firm believer in just the butterfly effect, and every time we wish we would have done something different, it's like, nope, no, you didn't, because we made it here. We are here because of what we did, no matter how crappy or stupid it was. We did that stupid, crappy thing because we didn't know better, and because of that, we learned. And we're better now. And we have that motivation to keep going.
True. I do wish I could do things differently. And no matter how much I wish, it'll never happen.
Right.
And I guess it's like kind of a trap that life sets out for you. The ability to reminisce. because animals never think back. They only think in terms of survival. So there's never they're the amount that they think about the past is so limited to, okay, last time I walked over there, I got punched by a jaguar, so I probably shouldn't walk over there again.
It's
That's
like
the amount they love to do.
purely survivalistic.
Yes. If I honestly, I don't know whether I'd like to trade my ability to consider that with that of an animal. But there are some things I'd like to forget in my past. Some things I wish I would have done differently, and some things that I wish I never put my time into. However, I am me. I am who I am now, and there's nothing that can ever change that except for the facts of a
But
time machine.
aren't you right now because of those things?
No, short answer, no. I am not me. Uh, just because I wish I could change those things doesn't mean I don't want them to happen.
Yeah.
Right? It's a weird sense of I know I changed because of those events. They made me who I am. I am not me, then I'm not. It's weird. It's a weird thing.
Hmm.
You can look back on the past all you want and be like, I can change this and I can become cool. I mean, yeah, but all the things
Maybe.
that you have in your life now that you appreciate, you won't have them in that life that you change.
Right. It's like it could be better, it could be worse, but you really never know.
Yes. Truthfully, you regret is just a human emotion. It's a
Right.
uniquely human emotion. Um, you push forward with your motivation unceasingly until the point where you eventually have to look back. In that moment of looking back, there's not a single person on this world that said I've done everything correct, and that's just something we've got to accept, that we make mistakes, we make boo boos, and there's no way to fix them.
Right.
You are now what you will be forever, or until you move forward. You can't just
Right.
stick yourself in the mud like a mule.
Well, you could just throw yourself in that rut forever and be compliant and just feel bad about yourself, or you can find the motivation within yourself to make things right. Not to fix or change what you did, but to make sure it never happens again and to ensure a better life.
Yeah, you could either be a winner or you could be a boo boo baby loser. But
Right.
yeah, past is behind us. We move forward. History is his story, because if you can't read what came before you, you won't have the context for what comes next. Ooh,
Ooh,
that was
clean.
kind of fire.
That
Put it on a
was kinda
shirt.
nice.
Put it on a shirt. Give me my merch. Anyway, what's
Anyway,
the next question?
so this might be one of the last questions actually, but
Are
why do you think so many people are motivated or unmotivated?
unmotivated?
Yeah, just in
Ooh,
general.
why are so many people unmotivated? Because they think that they're done. That's we are seniors right now, Casey. You've seen it firsthand. When you think you're done, that's the minute you fall apart.
Hmm.
You gotta admit that every step we've taken to graduate, along the way, you've seen people be like, "Why do I need to do this homework assignment? I'm done."
Yeah,
I've said multiple times, "Man, I'm not about to do this homework. I'm done."
right.
When you think you've reached your goal, yet you haven't set up anything else that's further than that, you begin to just like stagnate. You begin to become like statue. You don't do anything, you don't try at anything, everything bores you, and you kind of don't see the why as to what you're doing. You're just like, hey, I'm almost done. I've almost reached my goal. So why do I need to put in forth the effort that requires that sustained determination? Right? Why do I need to put forth this mass just this just this energy that I feel like could be used for something else, but I don't know what yet.
Right. It's like why do more when you'll accomplish the same feat with less?
Yes.
But what about people in general? Although that is a really good explanation for people in our age group.
True. People in general is a hard. That's big. Gosh, when you think about it, there's so many things that it could be, but if I could just pick one. People in general, why are they so unmotivated? Maybe it's because they see people do it first. They see other people accomplish first, so they feel like there's nothing else for them to do in anything.
Do you think it's kind of like the bystander effect?
I actually don't know what that is. Could you explain that?
So the bystander effect, I'm asking if it's similar metaphorically because what it is kind of different. But what the bystander effect is, think about it like this. It's like there's a puppy walking into the road and there's a car that's not close, but it's coming.
Okay.
You see a group of people on the sidewalk who notice the dog and are like, oh my God, like somebody do something about that dog. But the bystander effect is because you're a bystander, you assume that someone else is going to go save the dog. But because everyone has that same mindset that somebody else is going to do it, nobody does it. And the dog gets run over.
Well, hot dog, Casey, you've got yourself a yes. Yeah, that's that. Yeah, that's very similar to what I'm thinking. Yeah, it's more of it's not that you assume someone else will do it. You assume someone else has already you assume someone else has already done it. I don't know if that's different.
Oh, like everything's been done before.
Everything has been done. There are only so many unique fields or unique thoughts in this world, and you assume it's already been done. So you never pursue. You're never motivated to pursue what it could be. You think, hey, I want to be a scientist, but everyone's already done all the science. There's no more science to do.
Right.
No matter how untrue that is, just everyone's done all.
It feels like there's a cap on motivation.
Yes.
Or not motivation, innovation.
Yeah. The law of conservation of motivation or innovation. It can't be created or destroyed, just transferred between people. And I guess some people feel like there's such a limited supply that there's nothing left for them. So they don't even attempt.
That's true.
No, No, go ahead.
What's kind of interesting is, sorry to cut you off, but I remember hearing that, like in the 1950s, like around that time, technology was kind of blowing up. Like now we have microwaves, now we have radio, like all of these things that we take for granted now that make our lives like spoiled in luxury, essentially. These were things that popped up around that time, the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, with TVs and everything. And then color and like TVs in color. And at that time, they assumed like this is the peak. Like, how can we possibly innovate further? But obviously in the 21st century, now we have a computer, a supercomputer in our pocket.
Yeah.
That was never before seen. Or like a video call, a phone call with video from around the world.
Wowza.
Like so it's just interesting. Like people in the 50s was like, what was that? 70 years ago or something?
Don't ask me for math, man. That's not my thing.
Well, yeah, but it's just like,
yeah, I can do the math. Give me a 20. So let's do the math here, folks. Do it with me. Pull out a calculator and let's get some audience.
If you know the answer yourself, comment below.
Yeah, please comment below if you know the answer. So let me pull out my calculator app. So 50s, 1950s. So let's say 2020 minus 1950. Oh, that was 70 years ago, Casey. You are correct.
Wow.
If you got it right in the comments, we'll send you a note. Casey will send you the note.
Leave a like.
Leave a like, subscribe. Casey will send you a note if you do. Very handwritten.
Sure, I'll send you a nice comment.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just interesting. So we might perceive there to be a cap on innovation, like we've already done everything. But is there truly a cap? And I think if the answer is no, then you're more likely to be a motivated person. Because why would you be motivated if everything's been done before and there's nothing left to do?
And just become a fireman like everyone else wants to. That's,
Does everyone want to be a fireman?
I mean, that's what the stereotype is. I'm not saying you don't want to
Where?
be.
What?
Where? Don't you grow up and be like, Mom, I want to be a policeman,
Oh,
fireman.
okay. I see what you mean. What about an astronaut?
Yeah, exactly. Or an astronaut.
All right. Nobody knew that they were going to put a man on the moon, like back in the 40s or something. It's just innovation. You never know what it's gonna lead to.
Strike. Like that time I created friendship. Yes,
Like
you
just
heard it here first.
in general.
Yeah, I created friendship, Casey.
Interesting.
It's been a road. The motivation is been running low. I've been seeing everyone else getting friends, and I'm like, wow. So they're just gonna harp on my idea. But
they're stealing
cool.
my idea.
It's cool. It's cool. I get it. I didn't copyright it. It's my bad. I should have copyrighted it.
Right.
But
jokes aside, though, how can people take steps towards finding motivation even when they feel lost, even when they feel like everything's been done before? Like basically in the worst situation where there's no reason to have motivation, how can you find it?
You got to look to somebody else. There are two ways. There are two ways I see this. You look to somebody else who's already found that, and you follow them. You absorb some of that motivation that they have, and you use that motivation to do the second thing. Try everything. You try everything. You literally do everything you can think of until you find something that's mildly enjoyable. You stick with that. The motivation from that carries over. There is not a thing in the world. There is not one person in this world that can say that they don't want to do anything. Because there's always going to be one thing. There's always going to be one thing that someone wants to do, no matter how angsty, no matter how angry, no matter how depressed. Spending time with family can be your motivation. Building a birdhouse can be your motivation. You could look at the sky and count clouds. That could be your motivation. There is something in this world for everyone. And the first step to do that is try everything and find a person. Try everything or find a person.
Right. And a personal example, you mentioned this earlier, but like with baseball, I started a baseball team. It's unofficial and it's always hard to explain to people because it's not like a real thing, but I basically got 13, well, including my brother, just friends of mine, to just play baseball, a sport that only one of them actually has played before. So we were basically teaching everybody, including myself, a new sport during essentially like last summer during COVID. Or not summer, but fall, just still under that. And when you think about something like that, that's a massive undertaking. Like creating a baseball team, first of all, finding the people to play, and then convincing them to get gloves, and then come to practices. This seems impossible, but if you think it's impossible, then it will never happen. So instead, I pitched it as an idea. I pitched it. I pitched the idea as something that's fun for people, that's fulfilling, that's something to do during COVID, kind of piquing their interest a little bit. Just advertising it as something they would want to do. And I took steps during that. I cared about it, so I wanted to make sure that everyone had what they needed. And after that, we started practicing. We had practice sessions where we practiced fielding, batting, just throwing and catching in general. And then we had 3 total games, and like actual games, we had my sister-in-law as an umpire, and it went great. Everybody loved it, and it was so crazy because it felt like everything came together. Like, I remember stepping up at that plate, seeing all of my friends in front of me, like, who were the enemy team, and then all of my other friends behind me on my team, like, waiting to bat. And just having this feeling of almost being disconnected for a second, because it's like, wow, everyone's here, and we're actually doing this. This is crazy. This is a dream come true. And that's the thing. You can make dreams come true. You can actually do this. You just have to want it, and you have to take the right steps to it. And if you make it inclusive, then people will want to do it and treat it like it's something fun and fulfilling, so they'll want to come back. And we're starting it up again this spring and summer. Don't feel like you can't do something. Like, I know this is the most done to death cat poster of inspiration you've ever heard. But seriously, take it from me. I wanted to make a podcast, so I just did it. There were some preparation things I had to take care of. Like, I had to ask one of my friends if they could do the artwork for it, like the logo or the channel banner or something. And then I asked my friend AJ to do the music and everything. Like, obviously I had to do some work, but it was fulfilling work because in the end,
You're
I'm able
forgetting
to talk.
someone.
Huh?
You're forgetting that you asked me how to use Craig.
Oh, yeah. I asked you how to use this, basically how to record it, how to make it happen.
Thank you. I would like my credit where credit is due.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I forgot in the
I will
moment.
not be
But
ignoring
truly,
you.
thank you for that. But you know what I mean? Just like, there's steps to take.
Yes.
But if you want it enough, you can do it.
The world is your oyster. Life. Here's your reason for life. Life is about motivation. Life is a struggle until you receive what you feel like is due. And that's not entitlement, because if you work for it, it comes to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my piece on this motivation thing is I do what I want to do because it makes me feel good. No one in this world is ever going to shift what I need to do. And there's only a couple of things that are going to make me feel like I need to change.
Mm-hmm.
In this world, there's got to be one constant truth, and that's what you need to strive for. You got to strive for what you believe is your truth.
Right. And you might not find the truth, but as long as you're searching for it, you're on your way.
Yes, exactly.
And with that
Exactly my
said,
day.
I feel like this is a good stopping point. So
Yeah.
seriously, Sekani, thanks for coming on.
Oh, it's no problem. Everyone make sure to leave a like and then to go over to my podcast, Minority Meetup, and
Right.
subscribe so that I can win.
Well, seriously, guys, check out Sekani's podcast. I'll link it in the description. It's very different than Culmination. Here we kind of talk more philosophically and everything, but with Sekani's podcast, it's just a nice place to hang out and just listening to some kids talk about things ranging from TV shows to water bottles.
I got a good promotion. Hey, you feel like you're bored, nothing to do? You want to listen about old TV shows? You want to listen about Power Rangers? You want to listen about Avatar? You want to listen to fan fictions? Then come on down to Minority Meetup. We talk about anything and everything.
Anything.
Subscribe, leave a like, pay me $5. I'm open to anything. We do anything.
Anything.
Actually, I'll give it out right now. If you pay me $5, I will buy a maid costume and come to school.
All right. Enough.
I'm not joking. I'm not joking.
Enough. All right. Well, this has been Motivation with Sekani Cole, and thank you for listening. I'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Please don't pay him actual money.
Yeah.